So we will just renew.
Here till month end, Ram. You're asking.
We will month end,
November, January.
January end. என்ன யாரா வராளா? டாட்டர்ஸ் யாரா வராளா?
கல்யாணம் இருக்கு, கல்யாணம். Marriages.
Oh, good. I
Two
think
marriages are.
Oh, December season முடிச்சிட்டு அப்புறம் போலாம் நீ.
December கச்சேரி, marriage, go. Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. Yeah. I think we will commence the proceedings today. Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Chitta Bhagavat Padacharyo Namo Namaha. Narayana Paripurna Gunannamaya Visvodaya Stititolaya Niyati Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Matiprabodhan Vadan Nirasya Kritavan Bhuvidatva Vadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami Pujjaya Raghavendraya Satya Dharma Rataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavritshaya Namatam Kamadhenuvem Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvinavadidamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi. Om Shanti. Vidya, you have to put the headset on. Welcome friends. I think last week we took the opportunity of recap of the Kathopanishad right from the beginning in a concise, not in a very elaborate way. Since we have come through the journey to the third Valli, right from the beginning, first Valli onwards, how the 7-year-old Nachiketa had some sort of a agitation in his mind, seeing how his father couldn't perform whatever he is supposed to do. As per that, and he was being introvert, he wanted to get the highest possible knowledge, how to do the things and how to live in this world. So that's why he kept finally he went to Yama. We know that because he had to go to Yama because his father cursed him. Unlike other times, they say it's a psychological journey for him, and he has also left the body, because it is a sort of mystical thing, because from the point of view of normal point of view, otherwise it is the highest evolution of the mind, transcending the body, mind, and intellect. When he left the body, in the sense, it is figuratively denotes, he left the body literally and gone beyond the body, mind, and intellect, which is possible even with the body. Because when we say samadhi and all is a transcendence beyond the body. That is again by practice it is possible in this world. It's not necessary one has to leave the body and wait for the things to happen and all. Even that you can experience even during the lifetime. That's what it has been brought about. And when he went there, he wanted to get the highest knowledge for the benefit of the humankind. We also say he is like a Jivotama, because in Tattvavada what they call is Hari Sarvotama, because Hari is the one who is the omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Whereas the Vayu Jivotama, in the sense, he is the first among, because all the beings, he is the one who takes care of, all the, he is a sort of a communication channel between the God, and like Brahma. Brahma is the firstborn. Through him only we all the entire, through the Daksha Prajapati we call it, and Swayambhu Manu we call it, all those things have come through that. So the Vayu is the one, finally he takes everyone, he wants to uplift everyone, and he takes everyone's message. Whenever you are in a problem and you submit it, it goes through him. You can say he's a executive secretary to the Brahman or something like that. That is the concept, the theistic philosophy. Otherwise, because when you say, we have got the Brahman in our inside and Brahman in outside. Brahma eva naparaha, when Advaitam says, you are the one which is already inside. Once you know that, you are able to realize that. And you yourself are that, and you have forgotten that. See, I will try to bring one small story. It was, I think, it was ironically by American, because a famous author. He is basically British. I have talked about him long before. He is one Alan Watts. He has given a lot of lectures. His podcasts are there. he was before this internet era, because all his podcasts were in tapes. Now it has been, because recorded and published in the YouTube and all. He has given one sort of particular story, because it's basically to explain Buddhism. He is a Buddhist. He was following the Buddhist philosophy per se. And he also wanted to sort of explain the Eastern philosophy from the Advaitic point of view, because Advaitic point of view was more popular, because the Max Muller, when they came and all, for them they were exposed to the Advaitic interpretation of the scriptures. Advaita is nothing but the interpretation of the scriptures in a particular form, so that it's a construct, so that the human beings will be able to absorb. You will not be able to master all the Vedas, Upanishads, all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and all. The substance has been brought in and given it, and it was also given in a context that we will see, because it was given in a context when Buddhism was proliferating everywhere. Because when Buddhism came, they said, the life is full of struggle and it is all suffering only. Why do you want to be after this life? To be free from the life, you should eliminate everything. You will have to follow very strict disciplinary proceedings, and you will have to be away from everything. In fact, you should renounce everything. That is, you will not be able to live in this world. You will have to renounce. That's what the Buddhism said. And Buddhism said, because conceptually, what is the major difference is, they said there is no self. What we call Brahman and all, they didn't accept. They didn't accept the sort of primacy of Veda. Veda, they were not, because they were finding, the people who are knowing the Veda, they were being respected and they are exploiting. This is what, they thought, like everyone else thinks. They are exploiting the world and they are trying to bring their point of view. But in that process, they are, whenever you have a suffering, they are asking you to so many rituals, so that they also make the money. The people in the belief, they make the rituals. This is going on. This is not the way it should be. It is, everyone has got a birthright to find his own liberation and all. If he renounces, he will be able to find the liberation. And they have not propounded anything at all, because Buddha is his teachings, you can call it one of silence. He never talked about it. When someone went and told him there is a God, he didn't say anything, because he allowed the person to sort of inquire into himself, self-inquiry. From that, you find out whether you feel, because there is a Brahman or God and all. When someone went and told him, look, there is no God, I think for that also he didn't say, because he allowed him, because I think, because you meditate, you will get an answer. Basically, he said everyone to focus on their own sort of a self-inquiry, what we call Adhyatma. From there, you find the knowledge. But whereas Adhyatma is the primacy in our entire scriptures, because through that only you will be able to find and understand whether there is any self, whether there is any Brahman, whether there is any power beyond this body, mind and intellect. Something else is there, you will be able to understand. That's what he wanted to bring it about. There is no self, Buddhism said. When people were following, because when what they thought, those who are not accepting, you don't have to, you have to renounce the world and all, they are like Charavakas. They were just thinking there is nothing called soul, there is no Brahman and all. The body is the Brahman, body is the soul. Take care of your body, enjoy every moment of the life. You come here, you have been given the opportunity to enjoy, do it, and you can get away with that. Because, and let us understand one thing, Charavaka philosophy is not a casual philosophy. It has also got its own scriptures. There is one Brihaspati, not the Brihaspati what we know, in the Grahas, and it's not, this Brihaspati is different. And he is the one proponent, and he also has got the sort of a cogent logical inquiry into that, and he has come about it. A lot of people are following that. In this context only, when the primacy Veda was coming down, when the primacy Veda was going out, because such a timeless scriptures, which has been brought about for millions of years, so many millenniums, it has been brought about. Finally, we have got the great gift of it. Suddenly, it is not being considered, it is being considered something, not a superior one, and it doesn't have any use for the everyday life. Then only this entire thing started. Even before Shankaracharya, there was one Kumarila was there. Kumarila, a name you might have heard, because I'm proposing to have a separate, because a stream on knowing all our masters. Most of the masters are not known, because people who are into the scriptural study, they know it, but the others don't know it. And I want to bring it, not only that, because I will, to understand their own point of view for myself, as well as know about them, and which I will share, because separately I'm planning for that. The Kumarila is one of the greatest person who considered Veda to be the mother of the entire world, not only all the galaxies, everything and all. So he was totally heartbroken when we saw, Veda is not being considered to be something, worth remembering for. It doesn't have the primacy it deserves. And there is a story in Banaras, one fine morning, early morning, when everything was, even the sun was about to rise. It was a very, very pristine, pure atmosphere. The reverberating. It's such a rapturous atmosphere, because a lady was wailing. She was weeping, it seems. And she was weeping, because she was telling, look, because I have not been cared for by anyone and all. Like, any old lady anywhere you will find, because someone's mother, she could be someone. But when she said, I am the mother of the whole world, because no one is taking care of me. So she is considered to be the figuratively as the Veda. So the Kumarila, who is a great exponent of Veda, who has given the entire life, only for the propagating Veda and telling the glory of it, so that everyone understand, get the benefit of it. He said, as long as Kumarila is walking on this earth, don't worry, I will take care of that. So then this Kumarila, he just, because in those days, to prove your point, you will have to have an argument, that is debate. Debate is not like, unlike this TV debates, what we say, it is all of a highest order, because there is a sort of knowledge was respected everywhere and all. Even people, who are not accepting the Veda as the primary ones, because after the Buddhism has come into being, even they were willing to argue logically, they were giving to put their point of view. And Kumarila, he wanted to argue and win them over, so that he has given a word to Veda that he will take care of it as long as he walks on the earth. So when he went and talked, he argued, he took some one Buddhist monk, because one Dharmavera or someone, because in those days his name, there are too many masters were there. He went and argued. Finally, he couldn't convince them. In fact, he is supposed to have lost the debate. So then what happened, because then he accepted, then he became further heartbroken. He knows in his heart of heart, Veda has got all the primacy, but the entire public at large, the world at large, the new concept of Buddhism that has come into being, that's not considering the Veda to be the primary one. So then he was thinking over, and then what to do. And then he did another sort of, like a clever man he is. He said, he disguised himself and joined one of the Buddhist monks group, and he tried to understand what are all their point of view. So that, because once he knows what are all their point of view, then if he can find out, how to counter that point of view, then he can just come about and win. So with that idea, he joined them, and he learned all the sort of the base, based on which they are arguing, what is the assumptions they have made, what are all the correlation they have made, what are all the specific logical the pointers, which is being advanced by them in the debate. He understood everything from the guru, and he was also being considered to be one of the sort of the devoted Shishya of Buddhism, and they taught everything to him. Having known that, during one of these meetings, when someone was talking ill of Veda in this congregation, tears started flowing down from his from eyes. He was totally shivering. What is happening? See, she is like a mother to the entire world. She is my mother. Whereas these people are, because giving such a sort of a pejorative words, it as good as abusing her, they are doing it. Then they found out why is he weeping, and then they have realized he is a Kumarila who has come in the disguise as a Buddhist Shishya, and he wanted to learn that and all. So he just, he croaked. He said, yes, I am that. Then he said, in that case, he said, okay, if it is so, you fix up another debate, I will come and argue with you. So in another debate was organized, because they being a Buddhist, they say we will not cut off his heads, and the ahimsa, they were following. We will not do any harm to him, but we will not allow him. They asked him to jump from the place. It was a hillock, at the top of a hillock. He was asked to jump. We will not allow, naturally if you die, you die. Otherwise, because we are not going to do any harm to you. It is left to your fate. So you go there, but you have done such a great treachery to entire, the congregation. We can't tolerate. So he jumped. As luck could have it, it's not, of course, like cinemas. Veda has not come and he fell, but his impact was far less than what it should have been. But he lost one of his eyes. So after that, see, since now, his engagement with Buddhism was over, he came back again. They fixed up a debate. He came back again and he debated with them. And finally, he established the primacy of the Veda. This Kumarila should have been, in his story, should have been known to every Indian, because he is the one who took up cudgels to establish the primacy of the Veda when Buddhism was proliferating, and the Buddhism was proliferating in a sort of such a speed. I think there is no power on the earth could have stopped it. Because it was like that. Because this context we should understand. But he being a man of principles, he being a Vedic scholar, and he being a one who knows the intricacies of Buddhism also, since he has impersonated and gone as a Shishya to Buddhist tradition and he has come back, he has done something, because he has not done the right thing, as per the Dharma. He has impersonated. For that, he has to give the atonement. For that, then what he did, for that, he took a very, very great atonement in those days. He said on a slow fire, dhimi anch, what they say, slow fire cooking, as we say, dampuk, what we call slow fire. He said, since I have done a treachery, so I will have to pay for it. I will slowly burn my body on a slow fire. And he will meditate on that. And he was on the fire. He was giving up his body. He was half burnt. That is the time Shankaracharya was supposed to have met Kumarila. He was coming, because young, he was not even teens. He has come and he was supposed to have met Kumarila at that point of time. When Kumarila was there, Kumarila belongs to, in all your discussions, we might have heard a word called Purva Mimamsa. Kumarila is a Purva Mimamsa scholar. Purva Mimamsa scholar in the sense, in the Vedic tradition, doing all the rituals perfectly as prescribed in the Veda for the benefit of the entire humanity, for the benefit of certain purposes, like, if it is rain, to bring out the rain, and if there is calamity, to ward off the calamity, everything he was doing is that Purva Mimamsa is giving more sort of emphasis on rituals. Shankaracharya was propounding the rituals are only secondary. It is the Upanishad, what is telling you is the highest knowledge of Vedanta, that is superior. The last portion of the Veda is superior, that is Vedanta, Upanishad. Whereas the ritual portion, yes, it is required, but they are only secondary. They take you to a stage, but if you have to evolve beyond that, you will have to have Vedanta. So he said, because since he knows Kumarila is from a Purva Mimamsa school, and since he came to know the entire plight of Kumarila, he said, look, I wanted to come and argue with the Purva Mimamsa school because I have propounded my interpretation of the Veda, that Advaita, where the primacy is given to Vedanta, that is last portion of the Upanishad, where the ritual is becoming secondary to that. Secondary importance in the entire thing, though it is part of the Veda. Let us understand all this Brahmana and everything is very important. Brahmana portion gives the entire ritual portion of it. Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Vedanta, Upanishad. That is the fourth portion of it. All are important. They are integral part because Isavasya Upanishad comes in the Samhita portion of it. So nothing is less important. But in terms of, once you have to evolve, it is the Vedanta which takes up, it is the essence of entire Veda which takes you to the highest level. I want to argue with the Purva Mimamsa school. That's why I have come. When he met Kumarila, this is what I said. And he was also really rather astonished to see, who has established the primacy of Veda. Finally, is dying on a slow fire himself. But then Kumarila is a sort of a very, very principled person, and he said, look, because then, don't worry about that. You can go and argue, establish your point of view. There is equally a great scholar like me, who is known as Mandala Mishra. You might have heard his name. So Mahimati, one place was there, and he's a Mandala Mishra is there. He is equally a Purva Mimamsa scholar. You can go and argue with him. That is why the very famous debate of Shankaracharya and Mandala Mishra took place based on the direction of the Kumarila. The Kumarila portion, why I just wanted to bring out is because we have got so many masters who have established everything. Purva Mimamsa has also got great masters. It has got great relevance even to us. We may be having different philosophies following it and all. So knowing that, where Shankaracharya wanted to establish, the Buddhism said there is no self. He wanted to say it's self. Self is nothing but Brahman. That's what he wanted to establish. The context in which Shankaracharya was trying to establish was in the primacy of Buddhism was there. Even the great scholars who wanted to protect Veda, they had to suffer like Kumarila. In this context he came. That is why, because immediately to attract the Buddhism, to wean away from Buddhism, the only way to say is Brahman and you are not different. Because Brahman and you are not different, where it is said, because there are certain Shrutis in the Vedanta. The Vedas are there. So that's why, primacy, Veda is still primary. Without Veda, we can't have this concept, even interpret the concept. That is why he was brought about. That is one of the reasons, when they said there is no self and there is no consciousness, even Buddhism, what they call it, there is no consciousness, it is called anatma. Atma we call it, Atman, Atma we call it. We are all saying we are all Jivatma, Paramatma, we use so many words, so many adjectives and all, but for them there is no Atma. Atma and all, the body is there, but reincarnation is there for them. The body gets evolved, that's there. But there is no consciousness. Consciousness, it is empirical. Every time the consciousness is formed, whenever you are acting in this world, the consciousness comes at that point of time. The world is a play. You come here, because every moment is a play. That's what Buddhism said. To bring in that consciousness is there, which lights our thoughts, and there is a Brahman, because which is the Adi, and without that, we can't come. That is what Shankaracharya propounded. He sort of propounded to establish this so that the Buddhism can be effectively countered. Because a lot of people were getting into Buddhism and because they were not able to, the people who are following the Purva Mimamsa, because they are all said the rituals are only just the make-believe story for people to make money. That's how Buddhism was viewing it. In this context only, Shankaracharya, he had got no other way but to interpret this. And not only that, he was convinced, because his Bhashyas are giving the full-fledged conviction on that, because then that's how he could do. And we also know there was a debate with Mandala Mishra, and we will cover some other time. It's a beautiful debate, because it went on for more than a month. That's what it has been said. Like a similar debate was there between Madhvacharya and Trivikrama Panditacharya for more than a fortnight, in somewhere near, because the Kerala from Udupi, little away from that. And they are all considered to be, because these debates are of intellectual expostulation of the highest kind, only the intuitive mind can interact. Not with, because the general, because it is of a level which is far too different from what we can think of. So when that has come about, this is the self, non-self, we should not get into that. And the self is there, because it's not, you cannot, every empirical experience, cumulatively can't bring about anything. You will have to have a cumulative guidance, which is coming from some part of it. The soul is permanent and it is eternal. So we have got we have got Chitta, and the Chitta is the superior to everyone. He had to bring about all these things. It is in this context Shankaracharya has propounded that great theory of Advaita, based on the Vedantic Shrutis as well as Veda Shrutis and all, because there are the Shrutis which says the duality is also, Dvaita Shrutis are also there, Advaita Shrutis are also there. There are Shrutis which connote the Visishtadvaita concept also. All these things are enshrined in the Veda because Veda is not a linear document. It is the one where everyone has to go through and reflect, and whatever the intuitive idea that comes about, that becomes, and then you will have to give a construct of a philosophy. In philosophy, you will have to take the help of Shrutis. But philosophy per se is, the one that is propounded by the great masters like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. The people who are Buddhism also, they also know about Vedas. Because after reading the Vedas only, they have said, it is not reliable. They also know about Upanishads. They are also referring to the Upanishads in their debates. The human evolution, the very many point of view that has come about, it is the highest at that point of time, so that the various philosophies have come. And when this was the scenario in which people were taking the life, either you have to renounce to be, it is too severe an effort, otherwise you be a charavaka, be enjoy the world and go off. That is only the two things available to everyone. In this context, to bring about the concepts of Veda and bring about the disciplined life for the human growth, and finally to attain what a human being is supposed to. That is how Shankaracharya brought that particular, at that point of time, he brought about. By reason of which the Buddhism has not taken root within the borders of the India. It has gone out. Because at that point of time, because the atheists, once the concept has come, people were willing to listen, people were willing to absorb. And afterwards, there were so many other philosophies have come. The primacy of Veda is being established all through. It is not primacy of Veda has gone off. It is, some Buddhism took a cue, because Veda should not be taken as a basis, because the human life cannot be established by that. To counter that view, the Shankaracharya brought this great concept of Advaita. He was he made a epoch, a change of an era, because the entire thing, that's why, you don't find Buddhism. The Buddhism is still there, but they are in the packets. They wherever it is confined, and Dr. Ambedkar took Buddhism because it is the concepts are so sort of universal. It is good for the mankind, because that's how they also proposed at that time. And it has come about, and Buddhism has got a great concept. In fact, Buddhism, a lot of followers of Buddhism are in West also, in the Eastern, United States. A lot of universities are having a Buddhism stream also. In Harvard, there is a Harvard Divinity School. There is a stream of Buddhism is there. Even our own scholars can go and they have also studied. Even Sarvapriyananda, he has read through the Buddhism. Though he is a monk of Ramakrishna order, propounding Advaitic philosophy. Because to understand, because how, because there are great concepts everywhere and all, because you can bring it about and take the best out of it so that, you can live effectively in this world. This is what, exactly we talked about. When we talked about Nachiketa also, it is same like that. So therefore, what was happening is, because when we see the entire world, it is the layers of information, because that is there and all. We take few layers which is coming about, the senses, what we said, all the senses bring about, they are all different layers. First you see, and then you hear. And once, the understand the words, once you have the ability to understand the language, then it gets into your internals. So it goes to your mind. So mind, collects the information, intellect processes, and you have it. Because when you speak something and I speak something, it is my intellect, has gone through, say something, because whatever the mind comes, it has not taken it. It has gone through, you say this, you don't say this, it gives the advice, that discriminates. That's why I am able to see. Because when I am able to speak, it is finally, it gets worked out. That's why, last few mantras when we say, the senses, the objects are, the subtle, the body is subtler than the indriyas. The senses are subtler than the objects because they are subtle in the sense they are able to see it, but because they are able to send the information to a backup. They have got a mind, and the mind has got the intellect, and finally it gives the feedback. Then they are able to operate on that. Likewise, we have got that, but object per se doesn't have that. It is like a computer. In computer, when you open it, nowadays, you've got Google Drive, OneDrive and all. Where are these drives? They are not a physical drives. They are all in cloud. They are cloud computing. The computer per se, it doesn't have, it needs the power, it needs the operating system. And in the operating system also, you need the applications, what you want to do. You need the browsers, what you want to do. And after that, through those browsers, whatever you can do, for certain things you will have to use one browser, certain things you will have to do one application. If you want a Word, you should have a MS Office. If you want Excel, you should have a MS Excel. All those things you do. Finally, when you process it, what you do? Then finally you save it and put it in that. That's all. Once you switch off, computer is again dormant. It is like this. But finally, when you open up, and if you, because some other things, if you are operating a Google Drive, it is in the cloud. It is not in your computer. It will be stored in the cloud, because you will have to have a Google Drive account. So from there only you will be able to take. And this will explain more or less how it is. The cloud is like our chitta. The cloud is like the cosmic knowledge, universal knowledge. Not only your information, so many people's information is there. Because the cloud applications are there. Cloud application may be one, but it may be used by so many people, like us. So we are having, whatever chitta, what we have got, this chitta is the part of the Mahat Chitta, because that is like a cloud. Through that, we are getting it, and we are processing, whatever we do, because depending upon our lifetime, whatever applications we knew, skill we knew, we need it, we take it. We process it and we try to do that. At that point of time, we do it and we exhaust. We go on doing it. And all. Finally, when you understand there is a cloud, it has got the collective knowledge, and your knowledge is not something different from that collective knowledge. Finally, you are going to get from that. Finally, who is that cloud? Cloud is nothing but a series of codes and series of the hardware which has been created by some people who have done that. And all. Through that only it is there. The man who was first created, he is like the one who is like a Purusha for the entire computer. So he is creating that. Through that, we are using it like that, because in hierarchy it comes like that. So when we say the senses are subtler than the objects, and the mind is subtler than the senses, and the intellect is subtler than the mind, and the Mahat is the cloud, because Mahat is, you can call cloud as a Mahat. The Mahat is subtler than the mind. Mahat is subtler than the individual intellect. We are all individual intellect, because like all our information is stored in the cloud, not only mine, yours, so many people's, whole lot of people. Because it is like a cosmic mind. It does Hiranyagarbha, what we call. From there, when you go it, because finally it has been created by someone, the knowledge is, because knowledge has come from in the form of codes. That is what that intellect and the super intellect, what is there, because that is Prakriti, because Prakriti is the one which has created that. And beyond the Prakriti, Purusha, the one who has finally, invented all these gadgets and all these codes, who has brought it, and all this becomes like that. The entire body, mind, when we say concatenation, there is a term, which is used in the computer science particularly. It is like putting one about the other, one into the other. Because finally, you want to take it out, because you will not be able to do your computing. First, you will have to get the data. For that, there is one application will be there. Having application, you will have to arrange the data. There will be another application. Afterwards, whatever you want to do, if you want to calculate an ROA, or if you want to calculate a mathematical problem, there will be an application. All are inbuilt. So concatenation, but it does it in the way, because it's not, we are not able to see that, because we are not, it's not open to us, because we don't know the language, we don't know how to understand and how it works. The concatenation like is, like one into the other, and then you can bring out, because you will not be able to get, you want to separate that application, you will be able to separate the application. See, if your cloud is down one day, maybe you may not be able to store it. Temporarily, you will store it in your computer. Afterwards, you will store it, because as long as yours, it's personal. Once it goes into the cloud, it is available. Those who have got the access to the cloud, like Google Drive can be accessed by 1,000 people. All of them can access. So like that, it comes about. This is what exactly it says. That is, in the entire context, when we say, when we have to, one is subtler than the other, and subtler than the, what we say is, we are taking away from whatever we are seeing, because we want to see our inner self. Who are you? When we are trying to find, you are going into that involution. It is not the devolution. Once you experience the world, you are devolved into the world. But when you go into the Adhyatma, you are involution. When it takes place, then you find, because what is the meaning of all these experiences? I've just, because say a few sort of the process, by which, because the entire sadhana, what we are talking about, in fact, I have not started the mantra number 13, which I wanted to cover, which I will do it in the next class, but I will just give a sort of a prelude to that, how we can understand that and all. In the sense, supposing, because what happens is, when we are in the everyday world, we want to change everyone else. We don't want to, because when you are in the house, you want others to behave in a way so that you are comfortable. And your son, your daughter, your wife, your mother, you want them to be in such a way you can become, but you don't want to change. Because it's not, you want to be have the things such a way. So, but you may be telling, you may be trying to do, you may tell your son, don't do it twice. Third time you will still do it. And again, you will come back to the same habit of, telling him not do it. I have been telling you so many days, why are you not telling him? When you are telling, because when you are, that means what happens, why you want others to change, you are expecting something. So that, you can be sort of, you can be without problem, or to be happy is without problem. Say it's not the happiness is not something, to be without any problem is happiness, and your things get done. Whatever you want gets done. That's what, all of us want. When you want that, because then what happens, someone doesn't listen to you, then immediately you may be shouting, or you may be, because trying to give some harsh words and all. It may be only that point of time. And then, because by giving the harsh words, you will also be suffering. Why I have to tell that? Why I got so angry and all? Because then, what is that, Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana, what we think, once you think about it, it's not, don't think about the problem. When you are having it, I just don't have any problem. It's not that, because even with having, even if he has done, something it is not, I can still manage it. Once you think over it continuously, once you go on, because sort of affirming yourself, there is no problem. Only I thought, there is a problem because, I will not be having my things done. I will not be able to get my way. That is what Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana. The Nitidhyasana, when it comes, it's not that, the problem will not go off. If you think about that, just you have to sort of just to see that it's not a problem at all. You will have to just take it out. If you think it is a problem, it will continue to sort of bother you. How to do that? Because we are not able to do that. Because we always have a problem. Today I have a problem. Tomorrow I am going to have a problem. Yesterday I have a problem. And I only try to solve the problem based on which I have solved, a few days back. Tomorrow's problem, I don't know in what shape and what form it will come and all. But once you think you are not going to have any problem, you don't have any problem. That is Nitidhyasana. Not that, you go on chanting the name of Lord, 100 times. Even if you, when chanting, your mind will go, because, okay, that I'm chanting, anyway, I have given the money to this puja, to this temple, because let me wait for that. And then I will have to go to this place, and I will have to attend this marriage. And next week, I will have to come back, and I will have to attend to some bank work and all those things, it will keep coming in. So mind is not, you cannot be free, but at practice, once you don't have a problem, once you don't have an issue, you will be able to manage, and you got the skill, and you are going to give the attention to that. You are going to be mindful of that, and when you are going to attend the problem, you are going to be mindful of that. That is Nitidhyasana. That Nitidhyasana is going to be explained in the mantra number 1.13. This is going to be the fulcrum mantra of the third Valli. And this is exactly how it has come about. I just gave the scenario in which, how the problems have been looked at. Buddhists have seen the problem in a different way. And whereas the people, who have mastered the Veda scriptures and who have understood its plenitude, like Acharya, Shankaracharya, and how they have looked at, how they are giving the sort of a way to live in this world. Buddhism also gives a way to live in this world. But then that may not exactly be able to look at the highest form of bliss, which we are looking for as enshrined in our Vedas. They may not be able to get that. But they also got something called nirvana. Nirvana is total renunciation. So now the new type of a Buddhism, because new sort of disciplines have come into them also, like Dalai Lama and all, they have come. They say make the life playful. So because they say you don't have to meditate, in a particular day every time and just be, during the meditation you are okay. After the meditation you come back, the problems confront you. and you also confront the problem. So what happens is, if you are able to manage, you are manage, otherwise you react. You become a continuous chain of reactions. A person in this world is a continuous chain of reactions. When you practice, you reduce the reaction and finally, bring it to a nullity. That is where, because the entire evolution takes place. Even because Buddhism says, because they say, even if you are going for a walking, just be, because when you are without having anything else in the mind, enjoy the breeze and enjoy the walk, that itself is a meditation. If you are having a cup of coffee and just enjoy the coffee, just the lingering taste, that is on your tongue, just to get it to plenitude, and what a beautiful coffee it is there. That's at that point of time, you don't think of, I have to do it, this and that and all. Just be into that. Once you have that, that is meditation. That's what Dalai Lama says. Playful meditation, he says. It is also a concept. After all, in the modern world, you don't have any time, because to meditate. And a man who is working, traveling and working and all, so he has to find the pieces of meditation, whatever little things he is doing, that cumulatively it will give it to you and all. That also is a way of life. But we have got the most enlightened, whatever the Hindu philosophy says is that once you get into that, because even the understanding is of that is good enough to live in this world without any problem, whatever be the pressure. There is no stress at all. There can't be any stress at all unless you invite the stress. Stress will not be there. This is what the mantra is going to tell. We will see it in the next week. In the meanwhile, we'll have a small meditation. With this, I will tell you, because I have taken a prelude just to know, because some of the masters like Kumarila, we don't know. The Mandala Mishra's importance we know. In fact, Mandala Mishra was supposed to have been subsequently become one of the acharyas of Sureshwar Acharya, who is the Shringeri is established by Sureshwar Acharya. Mandala Mishra, after debate with Shankaracharya, having accepted the supremacy of Shankaracharya's argument, he became his Shishya, and he is the one who was finally established the Shringeri, where Shankaracharya asked him to look after the entire propagation of them. Likewise, we have got a whole lot of masters in our scriptures. We will all talk about. Even Sureshwar Acharya is a master, Mandala Mishra. He has written, because one beautiful book, because we have got a lot of books to even to me. Some of the essence of it, we will try to share it. I'm going to start a separate one for know our masters, because it's for not only for that. This will be on weekend program, where we will be. I think a lot of people abroad are also shown interest. We'll go for that. And today I will conclude, with this prelude. What I have given is just to know some of the things what has happened, why Buddhism was prominent at that point of time, how it could be sort of kept away from this continent by Shankaracharya, and how rest of the things followed. So thank you. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi, Tejasvina Vadidamastuma Vishvidavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today